interview, special edition CPJC News vlog. We're here with Chris Nelson, longtime Chico peace activist, and then also a part of Move the Junkyard. She's volunteering for Move the Junkyard. She's been doing that for a couple of years. But before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about Chris Nelson. So how long have you lived in Chico?
Since the late 70s, 77.
And then you became part of CPJC when?
We started the Chico Peace and Justice Center in 1982. There were different peace groups in Chico, but we incorporated as a 501c3 in 82.
Great. Give us a little background history of why Move the Junkyard, the whole movement needed to be formed.
Well, Chico scrap metal was on Humboldt Street and was near the creek, and it was badly contaminated and near residential. And so the city of Chico told them they would have to move, and actually ended up paying a huge amount of money because it wasn't tested. The land wasn't tested until Chico scrap metal actually moved. And they moved to their present location, not because the city put them there, but because they found that land and the city said, okay, that will work. And at that point, it was much more rural there. It was in 83, sorry. Anyway, then they found out how contaminated the land on Humboldt was, and it was vastly expensive for the city to take the toxic soil and have it removed to a toxic waste dump.
Right.
And that land has never been able to be used again. It's covered with grass. It's a park. So now, then after that, the Chico, Mulberry Chico neighborhood made a plan that they wanted Chico scrap metal to move, and the other businesses in that area that were not really compatible with the neighborhood, and they had this neighborhood plan was to have things that would benefit the neighborhood, like maybe a small store or laundromat or cafe or something like that that they would want. And so that went into effect, but because they were never annexed to the city of Chico, they can't vote in city elections. And basically the whole thing about the city moving the junkyard has been in the hands of city council. So progressive city councils have heard the owners of Chico scrap metal saying it would be a hardship to move, and so they've allowed them to have extensions.
Okay.
Over like 11, 12 years of extensions in order to move, to find the right place and to move, But they were always going to move until recently when this conservative city council said, you can stay.
Right.
You just have to put up a new fence to make it look aesthetically more pleasing. The problem is the waste stream, not necessarily the family that owns this business, but the waste stream itself. In 2007, it was found that there were levels of heavy metals that were the maximum amount that you would find, 500 times over what was admissible. Arsenic, cadmium, lead, chromium. These are all things that cause neurological impairment in children and developmental delays. And Habitat for Humanity built a line of homes right up to the alley behind Chico scrap metal because they thought Chico scrap metal was moving. These are all young families, families of color, young families that, this is their first really beautiful home that they have. And here now they're stuck with this thing in perpetuity.
So, but Chapman Town is being developed with, you have families moving in, like you said, new homes, and then you have the junkyard here with the dangerous toxins in the soil.
Right, and what's happening is that they have gone through multiple cleanup efforts, and right now they have a cleanup plan that's pending from the Department of Toxics and Substance Control. The family has hired many scientists, people, to say that that they're doing a good job in their cleanup. However, District Attorney Ramsey in our very own office here at the Peace Center said at the Human Relations Network just this week that he believes that those scientists, those people with all the credentials, didn't do adequate testing, that he basically said that it was fraudulent what they had done.
Move the Junkyard is looking for assistance in helping with the movement and helping collect signatures. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so what happened after the city council voted on November 1st is we would never be able to move the junkyard now because you can't, the next city council can't come in and change it. It has to be through the referendum process. So we have 30 days to collect 5,000 valid Chico signatures in order to have a referendum in 2018, so this is pushed quite a way back, but
Okay.
it basically keeps it in play. During these next 2 years, we hope that the city of Chico and the owners of Chico Scrap Metal can really sit down and seriously talk about where this place is going to go. And we also have to address the concerns of especially poor people
Right.
who don't have access to cars, who need to be able to recycle their metal, and making Fair Street, the other recycling yard that's very close to there, be able to pay at the same rate that Chico Scrap Metal does for metals, because it's a huge issue for a lot of the homeless people and very,
Right.
very low income people.
Mhm.
So that has to be addressed, but the main thing is the health benefits. And you had wanted to ask me why I got involved, is
Mhm.
because I was a public health nurse for many years in Butte
Mhm.
County. I know the effects of lead and heavy metal poisoning on children. I've seen high lead levels before, and I feel it's an issue of environmental justice. This is environmental injustice is where you put toxic places right where poor people
Mhm.
who are disenfranchised cannot fight back.
Mhm.
And this is an issue both of fairness and justice as well as health. And contaminating pregnant women and their young children, to me, is just the epitome of what is wrong with our country when we take a profitable business over the needs of a community.
Mhm. So, you're looking for volunteers
Mm-hmm.
to join the movement to help collect signatures of registered voters. You need 5,000 signatures.
Right.
Where do people go?
Well, we have a great gal named Margot who's coordinating our campaign, and you can reach out to her, and you can reach her by emailing movethejunkyard@gmail.com, or go to our Facebook page, which is just called Move the Junkyard,
Right.
and just say I want to volunteer. And Margot will get in touch with you and go over with you, the talking points, and give you your clipboard with your signature gathering pages, and
Mhm.
she'll give you an assignment of where to go, and even if you feel a little shy about it, she'll help you go out with a partner. And we've got a lot of work to do. I mean, this is every day we need to be getting over 150 signatures, because Thanksgiving is such a short
Yeah.
is coming up, and November is such a short month, and we've got the weather and the
Mhm.
short days and not very many outdoor venues, and so we really need help. We really do. This is a huge uphill struggle, and as you can tell, a very important one. And we also need financial help,
Right.
which you were going to mention too.
You're looking for volunteers and financial donations.
Right, and that's also on the Facebook page, how you can donate. We will be having a fundraiser, but that hasn't been determined yet. But any way that you can help financially, we really need it for all the printing costs that we have. We're paying our coordinator because we need her to do this full time. And we also probably will have to pay some signature gatherers, some professionals that'll just sit somewhere, 8
Mhm.
hours a day like a
Makes
job.
sense to me. So if you want to be active in this movement, Chris welcomes you to the Move the Junkyard movement. You contact their email address at movethejunkyard@gmail.com, and then if you're on social media and if you're on Facebook, go to the Move the Junkyard Facebook page to get all the updates and to be in the loop. And then, what do you want to leave the audience to think about?
I feel like it's really important in this case to put this before the voters. There's a lot of disagreement about this issue. It's been contentious. And if we put it before the voters, we will hear what the majority of people want. By that time, I think Chapman is going to be annexed too, so the Chapman voters will be able to finally have their voice heard.
Move the Junkyard Facebook page. If you're on social media, go to it. If you want to volunteer, they need 5,000 signatures. If you have spare time, if you're motivated and you want to do something local in your community that will affect the long run, people to have better lives, children to have children, and families to have better lives, join this movement. It's very important. Move the junkyard. Chris Nelson, thank you very much.
Thank you, Armin.
Yeah.